I'm up at an inordinately late time of night to bring you this next episode of Reading Between the Lyons. Now, whether you've joined us on purpose or on accident, please stick around because we are going to be shoehorning colors into categories in which they simply do not belong. This is the second part of my interview with the incredibly talented Heather. And in this half of our conversation, we're talking about how weird our brains are. And so if you can relate to that, or if you think it's just funny to laugh at people who are very odd, please continue to partake. I'll also be ending this episode with a little lead in to some exciting news about my first single, which I'm not going to talk too much about it now because next episode is going to be just all about that. In fact, I'm bringing on that first guest I had. Yeah, he's coming back on to discuss that new single. So I've got a lot of editing ahead of me in the next 2 weeks. Pray for me. And so without any further unwanted prattle, I bring you Interview Part 2. So, if I say the number 2.
Blue.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of blue?
Dark blue.
Dark blue. Interesting.
Like a royal blue.
Now, the reason I asked this, obviously, is because you have synesthesia.
Yes.
And just explain for a second what that is.
So, synesthesia is kind of different for everyone. There's different forms of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I see letters and numbers in hues of color. Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, if they hear a sound, they might see like a shape or a color in the air, or I know some people have it like tactile wise too,
okay.
Like certain touches or stimuli can make them see colors or shapes. For me, it's like pretty mild. Mm-hmm. It's really just letters and colors. Mm-hmm. And I was interesting because when I think it was 3rd grade, I was reading this book called A Mango Shaped Space, which is the book I brought in for Matilda because it had such an impact on me. And the girl in it has synesthesia, and she's like, well, I see numbers and letters and colors. And I was like, well, wait a minute, I see numbers and letters and colors. What do you mean synesthesia? Like, and so that's kind of how I realized I have it. Like, I also do that. So I've never been like diagnosed with it for sure, but that's how I kind of learned about it. And then I did some research on it. I'm like, well, yeah, I definitely see colors. Yeah. So that must be me.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't entirely honest because I kind of wanted to surprise you, but I have it too.
Really?
Yes. Yes, for me it's definitely numbers and colors. But then it's also, like, people and concepts.
Okay, interesting.
Like, I see them, but just all color. Like, I don't see shapes or anything. It's just all different color things. And I think it's interesting that you say 2 is blue, because for me 2 is blue as well, but it's light blue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually made a list of things I want to compare.
We're going to compare our alphabet.
We're going to compare our weird color brains.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm excited.
So, first, of course, we're going to do numbers 1 through 9.
Okay.
Because beyond that, it gets dicey for me. But, like, I have them, but they're just so hard to explain because they're just shade differences almost after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, 1.
1 is white.
Okay. Interesting. For me, 0 is clear. Like, it's clear. Like, not a color. But 1 is, like, brown.
Okay.
Or black. Sometimes it's black.
Yeah.
But, like, we already said 2 is different for us is different blues. 3.
Yellow.
Ooh. Can never be.
Isn't it so funny how it's like you disagree?
It's like, no, because 4 is yellow. 3 is red.
No.
What's
it's so
4?
funny how like passionate you are. Because you're like, you see it every time you hear the number. So you're like, you know it's yellow. So like hearing you say it's red is like, no, it's not.
What's 4 for you then?
Brown.
Interesting. No, I can't. It couldn't. I'm curious because this one's very solid for me. 7.
Red.
Wow. For me, it's green. It's very green. Like just basic green. Interesting. Is 9 at least pink?
No, 9's red too.
How are so
I
many
actually
red?
have a lot of red numbers.
Interesting.
I have a lot of red numbers and a lot of yellow letters.
Interesting.
Like a lot of warm colors.
Yeah. For me, like 3 is the only one that's red between 1 and 9, and then the 30s are different shades of red, and then it doesn't get red again until hundreds.
Oh. Wait, see, for me, like, when I get to, like, the double digits, like, if it was 21, it's just blue and white. Like, it's whatever the single digit is. And then, like,
for
it
me,
might be...
they always become, like, a different, almost usually a different shade of what they were in the original sequence.
Okay.
Like, the 20s go through different shades of blue.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. It's all like chromatic. Up all the way up.
Like a gradient?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is fun.
I know. This is one that with people who didn't even have synesthesia, who were really passionate about what color school subjects were.
Oh, like everyone's passionate. I feel like that's everyone.
Why?
Though. I don't know. Like what color your folder was. Like, I don't know.
Like, what color would math be to you?
Blue.
Math is just so red, though.
Okay, I see red
Math
too,
is
though.
so red.
I can definitely see red. Like, if I didn't have blue, I would probably choose red.
Okay.
Like, if my blue was already... Social studies was also, like,
Social
should be
studies
blue.
Is blue. Yes.
So, like, if I had
agree
used
with
my
you
blue
there.
for social studies, then math could be red. Green's obviously science.
Green is definitely science.
Yellow's obviously English.
Yes.
Or orange. Yellow or orange.
I can see English as yellow or red as well. English?
Maybe, yeah.
English kind of goes...
It has to be a warm color, because E is yellow.
Or okay. That's fair. Again, E is very similar to 3 for me, so it looks like it looks more red to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I could see English almost like between yellow and red and being brown. Almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see brown for English. G is brown.
Yeah. Yes.
We agree on one.
Yes. G is brown. And we agreed on social sciences.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, we got something in common there. Do you ever, and maybe this is just me, do you ever, like, see people in, like, a hue of color? Like,
not really.
I don't, like, see them, but if I think about it, I'm like, okay, this person is, like, this color and these colors.
I wouldn't say them as, like, a person, but, like, their name would give off a color.
Okay,
just based off, like, what letters, like, I see as most prominent in their name.
Yeah.
Like, your name's yellow because you have E's and A's.
That makes sense.
And J's orange, so you have, like, a warm tone name.
The letters are. That makes sense.
Yes. My name's pink and yellow, which works out wonderfully because those are my two favorite colors.
Really?
And
That's
I don't know if
awesome.
that's because my name is pink and yellow or if it's just a
Well,
coincidence.
the color you give off is a pink.
Love it.
You give off a pink. You give off pink and light blue, actually.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. A lot of times people will ask me, like, once people knew that I see people as colors, like, okay, what color am I?
What color am I?
And I'll look at them and I'll tell them, and they'll go, okay, well, is that good or bad?
It's like...
And I'm like...
It just is.
It's just the way it is. Like, sometimes I can actually... A lot of the times what I see... Because what I see isn't, like, just what they look like. It's, like, the way they present themselves, their personalities and their characteristics.
Okay, interesting.
And so a lot of times I can see a color and I can be like, like, oh, caution. Like, I don't say, okay, they're awful, but like, oh, caution. But when I tell them, like, there's a lime green that is, ooh, and there's a lime green that's like, okay, no problem.
Wait.
So I never tell people whether a color's good or bad because I'm like, I don't want to be like, I can't be like, well, yours is the bad lime green, or yours is just the good. I don't know how to tell you the difference. They're just...
Wait, so do those greens look different to you? But they
just
would both...
very slightly.
So is it because you've known people before that were lime green, that were so you're always cautious about that color? That had those
characteristics of that specific lime green. Like, sometimes lime green is like a subtlety, like a characteristics where they're kind of like just kind of like calm or whatever. But sometimes it's like a devious nature.
Okay,
and I can tell the difference a lot of times. I usually don't trust it because I want to think the best of people, and so I'm just like, oh, it's fine. But I'm usually right.
It's crazy. Have like a little sixth sense going.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much Spider-Man, but on the color wheel.
Right. That's what synesthesia really is.
Yeah. People ask me a lot, what color do you see yourself as? And it's always been interesting for me because for years, for most of my life, I was just like a hue, like rainbow, like a spectrum of colors. And different ones would be brighter, some would be more, and some would be less. But it's because I know myself so well that I know all the different aspects of myself. Mm-hmm. Other people also can't be placed into just, oh, you're just these two colors.
Yeah.
But I don't start to see the colors until they put that forward for me to see.
Right.
You know, I can only see what they actually express.
So you kind of have colors for personalities, traits. Then.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then they mix together to make what color I see the person as.
Right.
And it can change. Depending on when people change, their colors change. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, we're so multifaceted. It's like, it's hard to just categorize people into, oh, they're this, they're that, because I feel like you can take on so many different personality traits just depending on who you're with, your environment, like if you're feeling stressed or healthy or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
And that's one of the reasons I named the podcast Reading Between the Lyons is because there's so much more to be found out about a person than what they put forward to begin with and what you perceive to begin with.
Yes,
There's so much more to be found out. Well, the past year's been like on the rough side for me. So to continue what color I see myself, it's kind of mixed into like a brown recently.
Oh.
And that's weird because I've never seen someone as brown before. And so I'm just like, well, well, and also probably connected. I used to wear bow ties all the time. But then once I started to see myself this way, I couldn't. Like I couldn't wear a bow tie.
Huh.
I couldn't put one on. But I still have 82 of them. But I just don't wear them as much anymore.
No brown and bow ties.
I guess if I feel brown, I'm not going to wear a bow tie.
I mean...
How are you feeling today? I'm feeling a little brown.
Feeling brown.
I'm feeling brown.
Well, I bet you'll be feeling colorful again in no time.
I hope so.
And it's okay to feel brown sometimes.
Yeah.
Everyone feels brown sometimes.
You think so?
I think so. Absolutely. I felt brown 2 weeks ago. Now I'm rainbow again. So.
That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I should write a book about how to categorize yourself by color. A visual guide.
Hey, I'd read it.
Okay, you mentioned a mango-shaped space.
Uh-huh.
And that is the book that you brought on stage for Matilda. We chose a book from our childhood to bring on stage for the Bows. That was an interesting one. For me, the first night I had Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis, because that's a really good one. But then, like, as I was going into it, I was like, oh, wait. A book that was even more like, even when I was younger, I read this book called The Westing Game. And have you ever heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It's a good little novel. It's about this group of people are brought together because they're all beneficiaries of this rich person's will. And so they go in and the will is read to them and they don't really know why, because some of them know each other and some of them don't. And like, why are we all here? And the will is not like straightforward. It's a whole mystery, and it's like a challenge. And like, what we have to play a game in order to get the money.
I feel like I've heard of this actually.
It's so incredibly good. It's so.
Is it like a kids book or more young adult?
It's more young adult.
Okay.
It's like written back in the time when adults were whimsical enough to read novels that were also entertaining to kids.
Like Harry Potter age.
But it's written by Ellen Raskin is her name, and it's really good.
Okay.
It's a very good book.
Maybe I'll give it a shot.
I read it. I don't ever reread or rewatch things for the most part because I have an audiophonic memory and a nearly like a near photographic memory. I can't say photographic because it's a very specific thing, so I don't have that. But I have a very good memory, and so like once I've seen a story, I love it and I'll like keep it. But I'm like, I don't need to watch it.
There's no point in watching it again because you like have it.
Yeah.
Wait, question. Do you think that's because of your synesthesia?
Why?
I mean, in school when I was like studying, I could like study the page of notes and I would remember, okay, it's on the second line, the word was blue. Like that's how I would remember my notes for like test taking and stuff. So I wonder if that's like contributes to how you're photographic.
When I do it, it's similar, but I just don't remember the color part of it. Like if I'm like I'm reading a script and then I go on stage without it, I'm like, okay.
You remember like how
I'm like, okay, this line was here and then that line followed that, and this line was this long, so the words in it meant this, so they must be these words,
right?
Sort of thing.
Right.
I kind of like take a picture of it that's just blurry, and then I deduce from it.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how I didn't really use the colors. Colors, like words and letters, I can find colors in them, but they don't pop out as immediately to me as numbers do.
Gotcha.
It's like I can, if I look at them and you're like, what color is this? I'll be able to figure one out. I'm like, okay, that looks like this, but it just doesn't pop out as.
Yeah, it's not as vibrant.
Now, sometimes when I was writing essays for my like rhetoric classes and things, I would do concepts in different colors that they felt like, and then to organize it, I would just arrange them in rainbow order, and they made logical sense.
Nice.
Because like each concept, the colors were so well matched to the concepts that if a color like was red, orange was a concept that logistically went next to it.
Interesting.
So I just made the whole paper rainbow. The best part was I saved one version like that, and then I saved a version where I color corrected it back to black, and I accidentally submitted the colored version. Of
course.
And she was like, I saved your paper for last, because I love reading your papers, and so they're kind of like a treat for me to read at the end. But I was surprised when I read your final paper was rainbow. And I was like,
you're like, oh no.
I was like, whoopsie. And she was like, it's okay. It's all right. I didn't dock your grade for it. And I was like, thank you. It was an accident. I promise.
That's so funny. That's a good story.
I would say I miss school, but I've never stopped. I went on and I'm getting a master's degree now, so
Nice.
I do really like it.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, I'll always go along with people. I'm like, schoolwork, that. But like during a week when I'm reading an entire philosophy book, writing a whole paper on it, doing discussions about it, I'm like,
That's great.
I know my brain is moving.
I'm a fellow nerd too. I liked school.
Some of the plays I've gotten to analyze have been fantastic. Some of the plays by this playwright Bertolt Brecht, they're just so good. One of them is like a story, probably one of my favorites now that I've read it, about how difficult it is to be a good person. This one person who's trying so hard to be good, and the stress of it, and the stress of trying to be good, she develops, like, she starts dressing as her own cousin, and coming in and like fixing the things with being more strict, because she's like, being good has so much pressure.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's older. I forget what nationality is because I'm a bad student. But,
No.
But it's like it's a classic play. And then he did one that's like a modern retelling of the story of Solomon in the Bible, where he's like, I'll divide the child in half, and whichever is, and you get half, and that's how he finds the true mother. But it's like, it's not with a baby, but it's like a modern retelling of that. It's really good. It's called The Caucasian Chalk Circle.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway, and then there's ones like Death of a Salesman, which is of course a fantastic book, but in one semester for one class I had to write 4 analysis papers on it about different topics.
I'm sick of it.
And they didn't give any prompts or anything. It's just like, okay, and I analyze a different topic. And for the first 2 were easy, the third one was difficult, the fourth I was making things up.
Right. You're like, I don't know what else to say.
It's kind of a straightforward play once you get through the first few twists.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I do love it. I do love it. But yeah, Matilda, I was going to ask you, because we did just one full weekend of it just now after rehearsing it for several months. That was a lot. That rehearsal process was a lot.
Yeah.
It was
rewarding.
Packed in. It was rewarding, but it was almost lobotomizing at times. Do you have like a favorite moment, either that happened once during rehearsals or during a show, or something that happens during the show every day that's your favorite?
Oh man, that's so hard. I love this show. I love Matilda. I saw it twice on Broadway because I just love the way it's staged, and I love the music, and I love the story. So picking one moment is going to be difficult. The school song is...
It is.
So good.
The school song is good.
So good. And the way they do it on Broadway is like...
With the...
collapsing in my seat. Like, can we
please
rewind and watch that again?
They shove it in blocks.
And the way they like... leap onto the blocks just in time as they it's like magical choreography. I'm obsessed with it.
It's fantastic. I also like how they did it in the movie. It wasn't as for that because I didn't see clips of that until recently. But in the movie they like have the classrooms, all the different letters.
Right.
It was mind blowing because when I first heard the first chorus I didn't hear the letters.
Exactly.
And then they come out in the second, I'm like,
well, because they're not exactly, they say like ancient for age, you know, it's not doesn't exactly stand out
unless you say it, and then you're like, that I see.
Then you see it. But I do like the way we do it in our show too. I think the flashlights is very
lighting
clever.
Up the letters. It is because we don't have like the means to put the blocks in. So finding the other thing was really creative of the director.
Exactly, but it's fun to like be the big intimidating kids. And
I'm glad I get to do a little backwards like somersault over my shoulder. That's kind of, I'm behind another actor when I do it, so I don't think I'm seen very well, but I feel really cool when I'm doing it.
Yeah, yes, same. I don't think anyone sees us do that back roll.
Are we both like behind something? You're behind a block and I'm behind
yeah, and it's like pitch black except for the letter U, so but we feel cool.
We feel awesome. We feel awesome.
Yeah, I do.
And from what I've heard from a couple people I've talked to who I know who've seen the show, that number has been most of their favorites.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like it's a standout.
It really is.
It's so clever on its own, and then you add choreography and blocking, and it's just like mind blowing.
My personal favorite is Loud, just because of the character I get to play during Loud.
You are partial to Loud.
A stupid Italian dancer who just the stupid shows.
It's perfect.
I love it. It's so fun.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. Some people have told me this role is perfect for you, and I'm like,
you're like, is that a compliment?
Thank you. And they're like, in a good way. In a good way.
You do kill it.
Thank you. I really enjoy it. I am very pleased with the role I got in the show. It wasn't the role I auditioned for because I wasn't familiar with it when I auditioned. But I didn't auditioning for the show. I was like, there's no role that fits me.
That's kind of how I felt too.
I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. So I sang for the Trunchbull.
You get great at that
too. I
too.
had so much fun. And I was just like, if I can get called back for Trunchbull, then I don't feel ridiculous. And I did get called back for it. So I had a lot of fun with it, but I knew I wasn't the best choice. And so when I saw Rodolfo and really got to know his character, I was like, yes,
like, that's
this I can do. That's right. I play around with how I do my little, when she speaks Italian to me and I go, what? I play around, I do it differently.
Yeah, we always listen to whatever you guys do. There's one moment you change every night.
Which one?
The other night it was like, a-cha-cha-cha. I can't remember.
Oh, when we're doing the rehearsing?
I think so.
And, yeah.
And we're always quick changing, but we like listen for what you do. And
I would be saying more words, but I'm not really supposed to speak yet because you're not supposed to know I'm not Italian.
Right. Well, I mean the
little noises.
The grunts and the noises. Yeah, that's all we need. We always giggle. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to change the chow up a little bit too, because the first 2 nights I did it the same way I would say my little bonjour in Beauty and the Beast when I was Lumiere.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
He's not French.
Right.
You know, and just the chow alone comes out as chow. And like, no, I'm gonna try something different. So I've been going more like chow. I'm just trying different things.
Just give it a different flavor.
Give it different flavors.
That's the beauty of live theater. You can do something different every night.
It's really
Keep
fun.
It fresh.
And oh my gosh, you have no idea how much I'm looking forward to Mortimer. There's so many bits.
Really?
He does some little phone monologues that are just genius.
Love it.
And I'm looking forward to those so much. So I'm really excited for you and everyone to come see it.
Yes.
But it's the first romantic lead I've played since my first musical.
What was your first musical?
I was Horton in Seussical.
Nice.
And since then I've played leads, but not romantic leads. And so
yeah.
I think it's fun to have more of that. And like Mortimer, all of the action is centered around him. He's the only sane person in his entire family. And it's great.
It's a fun contrast.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I wanted to do with my first guest, but let's just say Jack was so distracting that I forgot to do it with him. I thought it would be fun to AI generate a question to ask each guest. And I call it a question. I didn't AI generate that. That was all out of my own noggin.
Brilliant.
Thank you. And so your question, it made me giggle when I generated it, was when you're trying to stretch, when you're trying to warm up and stretch, do you ever just accidentally do the worm?
No. In short.
I knew what the answer was going to be, but that's the first question it generated, and I was like,
that is crazy. Like, you didn't give it any pretext or anything.
No, I just told it, like, what's a question? Like, to ask a dancer. Like,
okay, so you said dancer. I don't know to ask me to stretch.
I gave, like, some information about who you are.
Okay.
But I was just like, what's an unexpected question to ask a dancer? And its version of unexpected was, do you just accidentally do the worm?
That's hilarious. No.
So no.
The answer's no.
Do you? I might have to now.
Yeah.
I have to. Whoops.
Oh, forgot.
Oh, dang it.
Accidentally did the worm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, fun fact about dance moves. When for some reason, back when like flossing, when the backpack kid was a thing, like when flossing first became a thing, for some reason, I don't even remember why. My brother and I are just weird. I swore that I would never do it again.
Flossing.
Yeah. Like, I still floss my teeth.
Not your teeth. Just
the dance. And I don't know why I did it, but for some reason I've decided to stick with that for like 12 years now.
And you've not
I've
flossed?
never done it. A couple times the urge will hit me because someone else is making like a joke about it, and I'm like,
don't do it.
I'm just like, no.
Restrain yourself.
I'm an abstinent.
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
And one random thing to be abstinent about.
There's more than that. Don't worry. But like, but that one's probably the most out of pocket.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember that very often unless the urge to floss comes upon me, which doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I guess not in 2024 so much.
No, not really. The only times people mention it now is when they're being really stupid.
Yeah.
On purpose, usually.
You know, we tried to floss in our TVs the other day. It didn't go so well.
No, those TVs are pretty big.
They are.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna just have all of us telly. But yeah, you guys do it really well. It's pretty funny.
Thanks.
The audience kind of got into it yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
I never really heard them get into it before, but yesterday they were kind of into it.
That's good.
For a Sunday afternoon,
they were pretty rowdy for a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Bunny being there, Bunny from Silver Dollar City, have you ever met her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, her being there was definitely helpful.
Yeah.
She's right in the front seat, and you can just hear her cackle. I've talked on the podcast before about how I need to have Bunny on this podcast.
I know, I heard you. I
You
just
did?
listened to that.
You listened to that one?
Part, yeah.
Yeah, she was part of the reason I decided to do the podcast, and then she was like, no. No one would want to hear me. And I'm like, girl, you're the funniest person I've ever talked to.
I love your impression of her.
She would not be pleased. She will hear this because she listens to
Hi,
me.
Bunny.
Bunny, your voice is beautiful. It's so much more alluring than what I made it sound like. But it's just as entertaining still. Just as entertaining.
You have to come on the podcast to redeem yourself.
Right. Prove to people. And also, I mentioned in my first episode that I might make a meal for one of my guests and make them try it.
Oh.
And then I posted on my story that I was making this spaghetti casserole. So good.
Spaghetti casserole?
Delicious. It's
like baked spaghetti?
It's like a deep dish spaghetti with like, it's got like egg and butter in there.
Okay.
And then you top it with like spaghetti sauce and meat and then cheese and pepperoni. Insanely good.
Sounds yummy.
I make it every once in a while and then I'll just save it and eat bits of it.
Yeah.
Casseroles
Love me some leftovers.
Casseroles are great for a poor person.
Oh, yeah. I'm living off one right now.
I've been alternating between 2 different casseroles for the entirety of this year so far.
Because it's cheap and it lasts like a week or so.
And you can put some health benefits into it.
Right. You can put vegetables, meat, carbs.
I just put meat because I don't want vegetables in my spaghetti pizza.
Yeah. You can maybe put like a green pepper in.
Maybe. That wouldn't be awful.
An onion.
I like vegetables, but I like them like specifically. I like them in specific things. And those things take a long time to make, and I don't have a long time to make them.
That's fair.
Yeah. I did want to ask, kind of as a final thing, it doesn't have to be related to performance, but what is one piece of advice, either that has been given to you or that you've worked out on your own? One piece of advice that has really helped you, stuck with you, that you would want to share?
Let me think for a minute. That's a big question.
Mm-hmm. It's a very big question. You can think as much as you need to. I sprung it on you.
Yeah. Let me think, because I feel like I've got a good answer for it.
That's good.
Okay, one piece of advice, and I don't even know if it was advice that was spoken to me so much as advice I've just learned from example, like watching others, but I feel like it's always take initiative and like nothing's ever not your job. Like if you see something that needs to be done, just like do it and like don't assume like, oh well, I don't know how to do it, or like that's not my job, like I can't do that. Like just do it and like take initiative and like get things done and be easy to work with and don't be a diva and you know just like do the dirty work, do the like the frontline work, because I feel like that's the best way to be a leader is to like be a servant leader. That's so true. That's very true. So I feel that's like biblical too. Exactly. First shall be last and the last shall be first. So I feel like that has gotten me far, at least in my career. Just like take initiative and that's good. And in life, it's a good thing too. Because I mean, in life, it's even harder to do, and even more rewarding to your character. Because in life, you don't have the option to get a promotion if you do well. If you get noticed, you're not going to get a new job offer, and so there's less of that monetary or like there's not the recognition, the recognition that you're looking for, but it speaks even more to your character because of it. Exactly. You do that. Yeah. Very true. Building character is a long and slow process, and it doesn't feel like you're getting somewhere sometimes. And every little hit you take feels like a massive destruction, but just the consistency over time is really what it takes. Yeah, for sure. You don't realize how much you grow just a little bit at a time. Yeah. When it's like sugar cube on the scale. Oh. I like sugar, so I like Yes. Well, Heather, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming and having this conversation. I've enjoyed it very much. Me too. I had a lot of fun. I look forward to another weekend of Matilda with you, and hopefully more performance sometime in the future. I hope so. I'm sure we will.
I genuinely don't remember how that conversation ended, but I do recall that we were not fighting, so well done. Way to be cordial and enjoy one another's presence. I'm kind of hyped right now, obviously you can tell, because coming up this next week, actually, my new single, Create, is supposed to release. Now, I haven't been able to do an official announcement or anything yet because my creator page on Spotify, Apple Music, and all those places have not been created yet. And so there would really be no point in telling people that this song is about to come out because I have nothing for them to go look at. But once it is out, I promise you, I will make it known. In fact, I wonder if I could give you guys like the first little sneak peek of the song. Future me? Am I going to be putting that in? Oh, I was thinking a little longer than that. Think with your senses. Okay, so it's gonna be a no on the like meaningful sample of music. Okay. All right, that's fine. Maybe next time when we have our little interview that I will be putting way more effort into than I probably should. But as long as it's entertaining, it's worth it. Right? Right? Yeah, I'll have fun with it, even if you don't. I suppose I shouldn't keep you any longer, so for now, this is goodbye. And in honor of the musical Heathers getting a revival, I would like to welcome you out of my candy store. Hey, that kind of works because I got candy. I didn't even think about that. I promise you this was not planned, but I caught sight of licorice candy and I wanted some. Bear with me. This is really good. So yes, goodbye, leave my candy store, and just, I don't know, come back next time, because I'm not going anywhere. I mean, hopefully I am, but like nowhere too far away. Like I'll still be able to record, and probably until I move to like this tiny little apartment where I can't fit any of my stuff, and I'll be sad, and I'll be recording in front of a blank wall, just like maybe holding my phone in my hand and having the microphone. Sorry, I'm just babbling. Sorry, I apologize. I just haven't had anybody just kind of talk with one-on-one like this. So thank you for your attentiveness. Do these walls have enough decorations? I might need to paint some more. I do miss painting.